In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the neutral safety switch on this Ford E-350 van. This is located underneath the van on the driver's side of the transmission. Let's get started. Looking on the driver's side of the transmission, right here next to the catalytic converter, you'll see the neutral safety switch. We're going to use a 15mm socket, break free this bolt that holds the main shaft in place. There we go. It helps to spray it down with some rust penetrant. Oftentimes these get very stuck in place. Mine's getting stuck a little bit, so I'm going to tighten it back up, spray it, and just work it back and forth. There it is. Set that aside. This metal arm needs to pop off. Often this gets seized on there, so work it back and forth very gently. You don't want to break anything. There we go. It is slotted, so it can only fit on in one direction. If you look at the top of the neutral safety switch, you'll see that it has a line here, and then it has two slots. There is also another line further down. The transmission is in park right now, which if I take some pliers and turn it one click, that's reverse. A second click, that's neutral. On the side of it right here, you can't tell very well, but it says neutral, lines up with this line, which lines up with this line right here. That's how we want it when we take it off, so that when we put it back, everything gets lined up perfectly. The new neutral safety switch will already be set to neutral. Now take an 8mm socket, loosen up the two bolts that hold this onto the transmission. At this point, all we have to do is very gently pry this away. A lot of times the plastic will seize onto that shaft. Rust penetrant will be very helpful at this point. Just give it a couple bumps with a pry bar. Keep in mind it's still connected. We'll have to unplug it once it comes off. All right, pull it down, press on the tab of the electrical connector, unplug it, and there it is. I'm going to wipe this off and actually clean it with a wire brush. I want the new neutral safety switch to slide on nicely, but I also want this to not have that much corrosion on it. I will also coat it with some anti-seize. For now, just try to clean it the best you can. If you have a narrow, long strip of sandpaper, you could just sand this down a little. Wipe it off one last time. Once it's all cleaned up, I recommend some anti-seize or grease, whatever you have that's going to be anti-corrosive, that's going to help this not seize on and rust in the future. You don't need too much. This sits out in the open and it gets blasted with all of the elements as you drive. Take the new neutral safety switch, plug it in. Make sure that connector clicks and line it up with the shaft coming out of the transmission. It can only go on one way. It's got a little keyway at the top there. And very gently push it in, wiggle it back and forth while applying pressure. Make sure it gets seated all the way, just like that. Wipe off any excess grease that's here. Let's start in the two 8mm headed bolts that were securing this on the transmission. Don't tighten them yet. There is an adjustment to this, and we have to make sure that it's adjusted perfectly. Otherwise, when you're in any gear or park or neutral, it's not going to actually recognize that you're in that gear electronically, even though the transmission might be mechanically in it. So what you want to do is at the top, find the line that we lined it up with at the beginning, this one right here, and make sure it's lined up with the line that is on the black part of the neutral safety switch. For me, it is exactly lined up right here, so I'm going to hold it in place, tighten this up. Once again, if you get this wrong, it's not that big of a deal, but you will have to crawl back underneath it and adjust it. Most likely, the van will either not start or the computer just won't recognize which gear you've selected. At this point, everything is set back to how it was, so I'm going to take my pliers, shift it back to park. Right there. And now at this point, the larger slot lines up. Now we can put this back, just like that. Press it on, install the mounting nut, and let's tighten it up. Give it a quick snug, just like that. Torque this to 24 foot-pounds. If you're unable to torque it, just do your best to make it nice and snug. Once again, you want to double check that this is all lined up. And at this point, you'd go back up in the van, try to go through all the gears, make sure it recognizes it, and of course make sure it starts. If it's way out of adjustment, it will not even start.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.